Hey, what's going on, everyone? I'm so excited to bring you another video. This is Scott with the Cornhole Collective. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel so you get notifications about our new videos, and head over to Facebook when you're done. There will be a link in the description. Follow our group page. We got a lot of great stuff going on over there. So this video, I'm going to show you these awesome boards that I'm so excited about. These Seahawks boards have a cool faux wood floor finish. You can see that here. It's not a sticker or a wrap or anything like that. And, you know, they have some painted designs on here, so I'm excited to show you how I did this effect. One of my favorite things to do. All right, we are going to start off by scoring the surface of your boards. So these are 3-inch spaces, and I marked those with pencil before clamping down a straight edge using a blade and then just a spade bit to really gouge the surface of those boards. After doing that, I came back and horizontally marked every, I think, 18 or 20 inches, something like that, and carved out the horizontal scratch marks. These scratches are really going to soak up the stain and leave a nice dark imprint, giving the effect of this wood flooring. Alright, we went at it with the general finish as black gel stain. You can find all of the supplies that I use in this video in the links down below. Also, go to cornholecollective.com. You'll find all the supplies you'll ever need. Links to Amazon. You won't pay anything extra by using our links, and actually there's a little kickback and you help out the channel so we can make more cool videos. So you can find that, save it to your favorites, and always launch Amazon from one of our links. Now we're going to start with the main stencil here. You can see the main design with the text, and we're going to go over the whole thing in a light gray acrylic paint. I just use this dabbing technique so there's not too much bleeding going on. I was a little concerned because of the scores that it would bleed under these grooves. But first we're going to go at the whole thing with the gray paint and let that dry. And now come back and highlight all of the white areas. That gray base coat is going to give us a nice primer here, so all our other colors are really going to pop. Now we're ready for green. It's more acrylic paint, and these green highlights really showed up well. So these acrylic paints are great. They stencil well, they lay very flat on the board, so they're not going to interfere with the bags at all. Pulling the vinyl always gets a little bit scary, so always pull at a very sharp angle so you don't pull up the paint or pull up the wood grain underneath. And now we're ready to pull the large vinyl areas, always the most rewarding part of the design. There was a little bit of cleanup here that I don't show in the video, so just use an X-Acto knife to come back and clean up anywhere that bled a little bit too much or seeped into the cracks. Alright, now for some poly. Lots of coats of poly here with a wide foam brush, and I like this Parks Pro Finisher semi-gloss water-based polyurethane from Home Depot. Stuff works great, it dries very well, it self-levels well, and the finish is fantastic. We do about 4 or 5 coats, pretty heavy coats, and then let those dry to the touch between each coat. After applying those 4 or 5 coats, let it dry for several hours so that it fully cures. We're going to sand this surface, so any imperfections or little bubbles or wood fibers that came up, those are going to get sanded down. So we've got to make sure that it's fully dry before we sand. Use your orbital sander here with a 320 grit. Also, wet sanding is recommended if you want to spray that down. I didn't do it on this set, but I really like that technique, spraying the water before you sand, and then it comes out nice and smooth. Clean off all the dust, and then you're ready for some final coats of poly. Now you can see this dull, sanded finish. This is what you're looking for. The board should feel very, very smooth to the touch, and these grooves are not going to affect the bags at all. After your last coats of poly, they're nice and shiny. The designs really pop. You get all your luster from your wood grain back. Now, I don't know why I didn't always do this, but flip those boards over and clean up the back in case you have any overstain or paint that's kind of slopped through to the back, or poly that came through the underside of the hole. You can just clean that up real quick before you attach your frames, and everything will be nice and clean. Now we're going to attach our frames. We have 21 pocket holes with 1 1/4 inch Kreg screws, attaching all of these down nice and firm. Okay, there we go with the frames. Now we're going to cut and install some blocks for the top corners. This really helps to beef up the joint at the top of the board. It also pushes the bolt hole a little further away from the corner, so that wood isn't too weak, where the legs put pressure on the frames. Okay, now before we attach our blocks and create our legs, we will round over the underside of the frame. I used an 1/8 inch round over bit lately. I really like that look. We'll install these 4 friction blocks, and those are used to attach the boards. Round off the edges on those, and then it's time for the very first fit. Keep your fingers crossed that your board's lined up. As long as your frames are all square, then your board should line up, and the friction of those blocks will hold them together nicely without any extra hardware. Okay, things are looking good, so it's time to build some legs. I'm going to measure and cut your bolt holes, place your legs, measure your 12 inches, and then mark your foot cuts. This is pretty fast, but we've got lots of other videos focusing on how to make these legs so they're consistent. The boards are exactly 12 inches high, and your legs are sitting at the same angle all the time. That can be a tricky part of the build, so go back and watch some of those videos if you need more instruction on building legs. Everything's looking really good. Just a couple little final touches. Let's attach our handles. This is a 1/2 inch double braided nylon rope. Again, you have links to these supplies in cornholecollective.com. Final touch, Mossboard's logos. There we we go. They are beautiful and on their way to a big Seattle Seahawks fan. So thanks so much for watching, everyone. I hope you learned something and enjoyed that. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and then when you're done, head over to Facebook and find us at Cornhole Collective. Join the group, join the conversation, and learn something every day. Have a great day, everyone. Talk to you later.